Hello, welcome back to Mayhem Reviews. I'm here with Will. We saw Bumblebee a little early, and we are here to review it. So Bumblebee is a sort of a reboot of the Transformers
It's like
franchise.
definitely a reboot.
Yeah.
Like, it completely ignores everything from all the
is
previous movies.
Fantastic. I'm glad they did that. And we have Haley Steinfeld playing Charlie Watson, and she is a 18-year-old. It's her birthday, and she gets a car for herself, and she finds out that that car is, in fact, Bumblebee. The Transformer, and he's sent to Earth, which we can get into later for why. He's there with a mission, and some bad people come to try to get him.
Yeah, this was definitely a step up from anything else in the Transformers franchise so far. I'm not like a huge Transformers person. I never really got into it like as a kid, like watching the cartoons or anything. But like I always liked, when I was young, I liked the Michael Bay ones. Then as I started getting older, like I started realizing it, and when the third one came out, I was like, "Wait a minute, this isn't." and then Age of Extinction and The Last Night was the last straw for me. Yeah, really, I was like, this was like the worst theater experience I've ever had in my life. Like, this was an awful movie.
It was rough.
So that's why when I heard, oh, we're making a Bumblebee movie, I was like, oh god, all right, whatever, more Transformers movies. But then when the first trailer dropped, I was like, oh, this looks a little bit better, and then Michael Bay wasn't directing it. He has like a producer role on this movie, but like I really feel like they're like, hey, just
back off.
Yeah, like let's just make this movie while you just stay far away.
Absolutely, and they were so right for doing that. They were so right for doing that.
Yeah.
If that was indeed what they did, I think this movie is really. I really enjoyed this movie, and I think its strengths are that it's got a lot of heart, and there's a lot of like emotion put into it. The character development is there, and you really just buy the relationship between Bumblebee and Charlie, and it's just great, and it's emotional, and it's just so like heartwarming, and it's an uplifting movie, and just the other ones were not that. It was like 3 hours long, each of them.
Yeah, the fight scenes would just go on.
Yeah, and this was like so well directed by Travis Knight, who clearly has a good understanding of the Transformers like lore and all that kind of stuff, and it definitely nailed the like 80s vibe that it has, because it takes place in the 80s, obviously, but also the design of the Transformers is there. Like, it doesn't look like garbage. Yeah,
like the aesthetic is just so much better. Those sleek, kind of bulkier looking designs from like the original Transformers, they look cool. They don't.
The opening scene I was in, I was like, this is so much better already. Like, this is great.
Those older designs from the first few movies are just instantly outdated, and technically these are the older designs. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and it worked so well. Some of my complaints, I would say, before we jump into spoilers, some forced comedy for sure. I think there was some moments where a lot of moments with Ron, the stepdad. I think a lot of those don't land for me. But I think there's more hits than misses when it comes to humor in this movie, and I think it is very hilarious at times, and honestly, it's a great movie for the holidays, and a great movie just to check out. Because that's my really old complaint, is that it's some forced comedy. That's really all I have that's bad.
Yeah, I really like. There's a really strong narrative structure. There's a lot of payoff with certain things that are set up in terms of character development. And I really feel like the relationship here between Charlie and Bumblebee is probably way stronger than Sam and Bumblebee, yeah. And I really do want to see where they go with this, because the acting was fantastic. The main actress,
Haley Steinfeld, is great.
Is amazing in this movie. I really sold it. The humor isn't as over the top and ridiculous like it was, the Michael Bay style humor. Non-existent in this, and it was. For sure. I wasn't cringing watching this movie.
Not at all.
And it was definitely much more family-oriented in a good way. It really was not much to dislike about this movie.
Not at all.
Especially because the action is very, like, it starts a lot of action, and then the middle of the movie is very little action, but it's all focusing on character development and that kind of slice of life, like, kind of E.T. vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
It was very, very E.T. inspired, because, this, teenager living with an alien that she's hiding from her family and having to live with that, and like it's that's been done before, but like this was a really interesting interpretation of that story. Definitely. And it was really good. And but like the ending is really great action, but it doesn't go on for too long.
Yeah, it's not like exactly. It's like, not 3.5 hours. It's not ridiculous. It's a clean 2 hours even, and it's just perfect.
When it happens, it's satisfying, and
Yeah.
it ends where it should. And,
yeah, it's not ridiculous.
and it really didn't feel like, oh, this is like a setup for like
More.
20 movies. Like there's a bunch of references to things that are being set up. Like
this could be a one-off.
it could be.
It would be a fine one.
Yeah, like
I would love to see more. But
yeah, it ends with like, oh yeah, we're obviously can make sequels, but yeah, it felt standalone,
complete story, and I like that about this movie. They're not thinking about sequels. Travis Knight is just making the movie he wants to make, and then he's done. He's in his out, and it's perfect.
All right, spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into spoilers here. So if you have not yet seen Bumblebee, click away. Go check it out when it comes out on December 21st, and
which we do recommend.
Yeah, we definitely highly recommend. I think it's a great movie. So spoilers. I guess we could just start off with the Cybertron stuff. I think that was really cool. The opening. He sends them to Earth just to sort of defend until they all regroup and get there. And then some Decepticons are hot on his tail. So that's really where the movie kind of starts, and then that's where we have the setup, really. So.
And there's a lot of like Optimus Prime being a badass, which they do kind of cut off in the middle, or in the beginning, and then in the middle they kind of go back to that flashback and show a little bit more about Optimus Prime being cool,
what happened,
which was nice. So he isn't... the trailers, they really prop up like Optimus Prime, but it's like...
he wasn't in this at all.
No, I completely knew, he's not going to be in this movie.
Well, yeah, I figured it wouldn't be focused on him. I thought he was going to show up at the end.
Yeah, he does, but not in a fight or anything. No.
I thought they were all going to show up and just kick ass and be this awesome moment. And I'm not mad that it wasn't.
They get you going, oh, well, there might be a sequel.
Right.
And then Optimus Prime's going to be in it, and we'll pay it off with that.
Right, definitely. And I like that. But then obviously, we get the whole scene where Bumblebee... I was surprised by, like... Not how long, but I guess I was surprised by how long it took for Haley Steinfeld to actually be introduced. Because there was a lot at first.
There's a lot of setup.
20 minutes maybe, where just the Cybertron, and then he goes to Earth, and then he interacts with John Cena a bit, which we'll talk about because that was sort of the comedy stuff that maybe didn't work 100%. He goes to Earth, and then he gets hunted down by the two Decepticons, and then he loses his voice and his memory.
He loses his memory, which I didn't realize that happened at first.
No?
I didn't catch that. I think, but now looking back, I think I remember something about like memory core. Yeah, okay. I was just being stupid, but for some reason I thought he was like trying to scan objects and it wasn't working in order to transform or something. I don't know what exactly, but yeah, he loses his memory, which is kind of like a common trope in these types of things. Bumblebee does lose his memory.
And voice.
Which is kind of why, like, but when he does get his memory back at the end, and then he remembers how to be a badass, and that's when it's like, oh yeah, like, because throughout the whole movie he's kind of getting his ass beat, but by the end, like, it's like, oh yeah, he's like a really awesome, like, powerful soldier of Optimus Prime.
Going back to the John Cena stuff, just like there was like this opening scene with like the government in this movie is played in a very tongue-in-cheek kind of way, and I like that because with the Michael Bay ones, it's very serious and ridiculous and annoying and just awful. It's
also a lot of like hoorah military stuff in the older ones. This one, they
get away from that, and John Cena plays he's definitely hamming it up in this, and he's like...
Yeah, but I liked him.
Sure I liked him. I just think, initially I was like, oh no, like, is this all gonna just fall flat? But no, I think it works pretty well. There's some jokes that just land so hard with John Cena, it's hilarious. But I guess we could talk more about, because Haley Steinfeld, obviously, her father passes away. I didn't know that going in. I don't think that's been a big thing.
So her father had died in the past.
Had a heart attack and died. And there's some great... At first I was like, oh no, is this just gonna be like something that we have to... Yeah, it's just going to be like forced emotion.
Yeah, like a kind of like a generic, or we need something to be sad about. Right. But the way they write it in here is...
It's perfect. It's
like,
so good.
At some point she has to save Bumblebee. And she does it by using her diving skills, which she avoided using earlier in the movie.
Because the last time she saw her father was like a dive meet, and then like she just kind of like stopped doing it. She
associates, her
diving
being a diver with the death of her father, because it happened the same day. It was this big dive meet, like you said. But at the end, she has to go jump in there, wake up Bumblebee when he's like under the water drowning, and like there's this huge payoff for this. Like she's overcoming the past and saving somebody that like a little. It's like instead of saving her father, but now she's able to save
Bumblebee. Yeah, that's actually really good.
It's really touching.
A little predictable. Because I do think as soon as she's like in that big like teenage like setting where she's about to like jump off the rock. And everybody's like, do it, and then she doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is going to pay off.
Somewhere in the movie she's going to jump into water. Right. And then the second, like, they break a dam, and then, like, the water comes rushing in.
You're like, okay. This is how we're and then she's very high up. It's like, well, there we go. And not a knock on it. It's just, I did think I was worried about, is the friend's name Memo?
Yeah, I think his name is Memo.
Okay.
And that was
ridiculous.
I feel like he was kind of useless.
A little bit, yeah.
And one thing I did want to say is how great the actress is, because when you really think about it, most of her acting in this movie, she's talking by herself to a giant robot, which is obviously like a big CGI like prop or something.
Right. Yeah.
And she's really emoting really well with that. And I feel like I've heard a lot of actors have a hard time
doing that,
interacting with CGI characters because they're not actually talking to a real person. But I actually really bought the relationship there, and that's probably why this Memo character is kind of there, because she needs like a human being to talk to. That's not like her annoying. It's
kind of a love interest, and it just doesn't really go anywhere in terms of like romance, and I which is fine. I just feel like it was a little. He was some of the forced comedy a little bit sometimes. Yeah. He's not the kid from Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, as we established.
Yeah. I was like, is he gonna end up like that? Because when he first sees Bumblebee, he's like, oh my god,
he's
and
like freaking out. Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, please don't be Jurassic World.
Jurassic World kid. No. I'm shocked by how like well done this movie was. Like the villains were pretty believable. They were menacing as hell.
Oh yeah, like they kill a couple people.
Yeah, they kill a couple people, and it's like real. I'm like, wow, this is like rough.
So obviously, it's like a little PG-ified because they just like turn people into like a bubble of water. And, like
I'm hoping that everybody goes to check this out around Christmas because I think it deserves your money. It deserves your time. We haven't seen Aquaman yet, but we're seeing that next week. We'll see which one is better. I do think that this could be a force to be reckoned with around Christmas time. I certainly hope it ends up being like a big box office success because I really enjoyed it. And,
I really want to see sequels to this. They didn't blow their load on this movie either. Like Megatron wasn't the villain and stuff like that. Like not even there really wasn't even a
mention. Nothing.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, they just referenced like Decepticons. Yeah. Like they never actually say Megatron. There's a couple other Decepticons in the movie. I don't think they were named.
No.
Though I feel like it's one, like, if I was, like, a huge Transformers fan, I'd be like, I know who that is.
Right. We'd be able to pick out the Easter eggs more.
Yeah. I don't know it that much.
Yeah,
though I'm hoping, because, like, a couple, like, Autobots get murdered, like, really quickly, and I'm like, I hope those weren't fan-favorite characters. But, yeah.
So I think that's it from us. What did you guys think of Bumblebee, obviously? Comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Stay tuned. Goodbye.
Thank you.